was nothing very magic about that, was there? Let's see if we can improve the chords a little bit to put a little bit of magic into our playing. Alter the sound as well. Let's be positive. Here we go. And what made the magic? I added some diminished sevenths and a couple of augmented fifths to add to that special harmony. Would you like to be able to do that with your own music? Come over the keyboard and I'll show you exactly how it's done. First, let's look at diminished, an ordinary diminished chord. Here we have a chord of C, C, E, G. We know that if we drop the middle note down, the third note of the root position chord, if we drop the third note down, we know that we have a minor chord, very sad sounding chord. And now if we drop this one down as well, the G becomes G flat, we have a C diminished chord, because we're making it smaller, we're pushing it closer together, we're diminishing it, making it smaller. And that's a C diminished. Now we can do the same with the seventh chord. Let's put a C7 down in the root position so you can see exactly what's happening. And there's the seventh. It's already flattened. It's a B flat. So C, E, G, B flat gives you the C7. We take the E down to E flat. We diminish the third, which makes it a C minor seventh. We take the fifth down to G flat, which makes it a C minus 7 with a flattened fifth. Look, there's the fifth going down, and now we flatten the seventh again, so B flat becomes B double flat. Posh name for A, really. So it's C, E flat, G flat, and B, we squeeze it down. So we've taken a C7 chord and we've squashed it, a semitone down. The C stays where it is, squash it down. Now, that's a C diminished seventh. Now, if you look at the spaces in between that C diminished chord, in between the notes, we've got two notes in between each one. Look, C, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play. So now we have a fabulous formula for working out all the diminished seventh. If I were to say, right, give me a D diminished seventh, or a diminished seventh on D. That's the classical way of saying it. They say, give me a diminished seventh on D. I could play a D and then go in either direction. I can go miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play. And now we have a D diminished seventh. Or that chord could be the diminished seventh of F, of A flat, or of B, depending on who's at the bottom. Look, there's a B diminished seventh, A flat diminished seventh, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play. Because the distance is exactly the same between all the notes, any note in the chord can be the name note. So for instance, let's do a D flat diminished seventh. D flat diminished seventh, we play D flat, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play, miss, miss, play. And if we did miss, miss, play again, miss, miss, play, I would end up back on the D flat. And that shows us that there are only 3 diminished chords. So that D flat diminished chord could be an E diminished, a G diminished, or a B flat diminished, normally depending on which note has the bass note, the pedal note on an organ, or on a keyboard. B flat at the bottom means we have a B flat diminished seventh, G at the bottom means we have a G diminished seventh. So there are only 3 diminished seventh chords, and they can be very, very useful. A diminished seventh chord is a sort of wild card. Harmonically, it's a wild card. We can use it to go from one chord to another. For instance, here we have chord of C, goes to D minor 7. nothing wrong there, but let's put the C sharp diminished seventh in between the chord as a sort of bridging chord. So to go from C, C sharp diminished seventh, miss miss play, miss miss play, miss miss play. So C sharp, miss miss play, miss miss play, miss miss play. There's your C sharp diminished seventh, and that slides beautifully onto D minor 7. So now we can have if you fill in the harmony with the right hand as well, it's fantastic to go from C, now that diminished seventh, to D minor 7. Now let's carry on. Hey, what did we do there? We had an augmented fifth, or a sharpened fifth. What we're doing is making the chord bigger. Here's a simple chord of G. Come a bit closer over the keys and I'll show you what's happening. Okay, so here we have a simple chord of G major. It's made of the first, third and fifth scale notes. So G is the first, the G name note, B is the third, D is the fifth, and when we augment a chord, we sharpen the fifth, because augmented chord and sharpened fifth mean exactly the same thing. There's the fifth, we sharpen it, and that will lead nicely onto a chord of C. And we can sharpen the fifth even if you're playing a seventh chord. So G7, there's the fifth note, we're going to sharpen it. So G7 sharp 5. That would appear in brackets. You would have G7 sharp 5. Is there. There's your 5. Sharpen it. Always reminds me of the Sound of Music. Listen, let's sharpen that fifth. See how that leads? You could use it as an introduction chord. So the sharpened fifth is a very useful chord. If you have a chord of C, for instance, that's going on and on for bars, try sharpening the fifth. If we were playing Aura Lee, what was it, Love Me Tender, that one. The middle part, where it goes. That's boring. So what we'll do is we'll sharpen the fifth. Love Me Tender. Now sharpen the fifth. Much better. So once again, look at the chord of C. There's the first, the third and the fifth I've put down at the bottom here. You could put it there, but I'm going to put it down at the bottom so you can see what's happening. Sharpen the fifth. So all we have is a chord of C, but the G I've turned into a G sharp. And it makes a nice progression. And I did exactly the same thing on When You Wish Upon a Star. Let's go all the way through it. Look, the first part. So we've got this chord of C. Now instead of holding that chord of C, I play a C sharp diminished seventh to bridge the gap between C and D minor 7. So watch what happens. Now instead of holding a G7, I sharpen the fifth halfway through. And that leads nicely to C. One more time, watch the chords change. Thanks for watching.